Hi, my name is George Madiou. I'm the owner and publisher of the Network Marketing Magazine, which has created the 27% of Success System. I have with me today one of my very favorite people in the world, and especially in the world of network marketing. Great trainer, great contributor, and a contributor of lessons to the 27% of Success System. And that is Tom Big Al Schreider. So welcome, Tom.
Thank you, George. And today we'll talk about getting appointments.
Great.
And I wrote a book about that along with Keith, and it's a big problem for us when we get started, me included, because we're thinking we don't want to be a sleazy salesman. We don't want to make money off of our friends. They're going to talk about us. We're going to get rejected. They'll talk about us behind our back. I mean, there's a lot of drama here. So if you are afraid of calling for appointments, then that means you are human. Join the rest of us. Now, when we wrote the book, we spent the first half on the biggest problem and the second half on the small problem. So let's cover the biggest problem first, and that is fear. No matter how many scripts you learn, it doesn't matter if you're afraid to pick up the phone. So the first thing we have to do is attack the fear problem and make it rejection free. And how this comes is this is all self-induced. Yes, it is. So what we are is afraid to talk to people. And there's a little case study that let me point out, and we can just figure it out from there. The case study was about salespeople. They were raising money for charity, and they broke the group up into three groups. And roughly how it worked was for 2 weeks, group number one made their regular sales calls to raise money for the charity. And their sales at the end of 2 weeks were pretty much the same. But the second group, they trained them on the exact words to say, how to handle objections and stuff like that. And they did that for 10 or 15 minutes in the morning before they made their calls. You know what happened at the end of 2 weeks? Their sales were about the same. Shocking. The third group, here's what they did. For 10 or 15 minutes before they made calls in the morning, they showed them videos of where the charity helped people. They showed them testimonials of people that felt good about giving. They said, I can help and I don't have to, invest my time and it makes me feel good. And then they made their regular sales calls as always, and their sales went way up through the roof. So what happened? Well, their belief level went so high into their business that they didn't feel they were selling people, but what they felt was this is something I'm doing for people instead of something to people. So that change in attitude, that change in how they looked at their business made a huge difference without even changing one word of the script. So if you are afraid of calling somebody, guess what? That means our belief level isn't high enough, and we're calling somebody and we say, that's not so good. Or we're calling somebody and we didn't know what their problem was, and now we're just calling out of the blue like a salesperson. This is stuff we do to people. But to get an appointment, we want to do it for people. So what should we do? If you have a brand new person afraid to make calls, well, show them some testimonials. Have them talk to some people, maybe use the product or service. And all of a sudden, their belief level goes high enough where they call for people. They say, even if they don't do it, I do it for them. And then the second part, without giving you any scripts whatsoever, consider this. Most people call for a presentation. When I say the word presentation, oh, it's ugly. They call, they're not trained, and they say, well, I just joined and this new business, and I want to come over and talk to you about it. Does that sound like a salesman? Oh, yeah. And I just need 20 minutes of your time, and I want to give you here's the word, presentation. Does that trigger a salesman alarm? When we say the word presentation, immediately they're going to start looking for reasons why not to do it instead of to do it. And why not? Well, in case you don't want the presentation, they need some ammunition to get out of it. So when we start a presentation, they immediately look for reasons why not. But if we substitute that word with the word options, everything changes. So if we make the call in order to offer the receiver of the call an option to improve their life, if we're offering an option, everything changes. Our attitude changes, how they react to us change. Option, man, that means that it's okay if I do it and if I don't. How good is that? And the only way options can help me is if I find a way to make it work. So immediately when they talk to us, they're looking for ways of making it work instead of looking for ways not to make it work. Options are great. And if we can change how we think about the second half, which is what we say, to options, it's going to be great. Let me give you my son's Keith's best example on options. I just got to steal it. He says, imagine George and I are having a cup of coffee. The waitress comes over and says, you want cream with the coffee? George says, yes. And says, Big Al, do you want cream with your coffee? And I say, no. You don't see the waitress go back in the kitchen with the creamer, slam it against the wall and yell, it's a pyramid. I've been rejected. This is terrible. You know, my life will never be the same. I quit. No, it's just an option. So if we offer our business as an option, you might say, wow, people will react totally different and I wouldn't feel bad. And if they don't take it, it's okay. It's not their time in their life and that's fine. So maybe we could do this. We could say, man, I've been getting this check every week or month in the mail. And I've been able to pay for Christmas with cash instead of credit card. So when you call your friend and you're doing it because you want to help them so they can do it, you might say something like, guess what? This year I'm paying for Christmas with cash instead of my credit card. First time ever. Would you like to know how I'm doing it? You give them an option to hear or not. They love it. And some will say, no, I don't. I'm a full-time loser. I just wait for somebody to push me off a cliff. Or say, I'm glad to help. Or they might say, yeah, I'd like to know how you're doing it. You say, well, let's talk. When can we get together? How hard was that? So that's the secret to appointment. So memorize sales scripts when we don't have the 4 people instead of 2 people inside of our head. They can smell a salesman a mile away. So George, back to you.
Big Al, thanks so much again for your wisdom. I appreciate you.